Welcome to Group Editors Online. I'm Ilse Schoonraad. To speak to us about the effect of US foreign aid funding cuts on Western Cape health initiatives is Mireille Wenger, Western Cape Minister of Health and Wellness. Minister Wenger also served as Western Cape Minister of Finance and Economic Opportunities. Minister, can you just tell us what organisations and departments are being directly affected by the USAID cuts, and can they handle this? Can they absorb this?
Good morning. In the Western Cape, we have approximately 10 NGOs that are acutely affected by the USAID funding freezes, as well as a government-to-government grant with the Western Cape government. These NGOs primarily work in the Cape Town Metro, which has the highest HIV prevalence in the province, as well, although to a lesser extent, in the Cape Winelands and the West Coast districts. Other districts are not as acutely affected by the funding stoppages, but of course the extent is large. We're looking overall at approximately 700 NGO jobs in our province alone.
And the immediate and long-term effects of these cuts?
So I think it's important for me to mention that the Western Cape government over time has shifted using foreign aid for direct service delivery and more towards technical support, data support and so on through the government-to-government grant. For example, we purchase the ARVs in the Western Cape within our own budgets. However, our delivery partners in the NGO space help with the counselling, the testing, and also delivery of those ARVs. So what this will mean is that the way in which ARVs are received will change, and it will mean that people will now have to come to our clinics in order to receive their medications. And this will place an additional strain on clinics that are already quite overwhelmed. But we're working together with the NGO sector, we're working together with the health sector to see how we can mitigate some of these risks. In the NGO space, a lot of the counsellors are now no longer able to offer their services as a result of this funding freeze, as well as information officers. And so we're very concerned that the effect this will have on HIV outcomes, and also at the same time, any effect on HIV outcomes will necessarily have an effect on TB outcomes, because we have that twin epidemic here. Just to say that since 2019, we've seen a steady increase in the number of people remaining in ART, antiretroviral care. And this is important because remaining in ART care means that a person's viral load decreases to undetectable levels, and at undetectable levels, the virus then is no longer transmitted. We call this U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable. So we're concerned that without this additional support from the NGO sector, which is absolutely vital, we're worried that some of these gains will be reversed.
Is there any way that they can get funding from somewhere else instead of from the USAID program?
So that's what we're working on at the moment. It is a rapidly developing situation. So we're looking to see there are other programs that receive funding. We're looking internationally, but also at home. We're seeing within the current budget cycle whether there might be some possibility of support. But in the meantime, we're first aiming to stabilize the situation, and we're looking at how we can work together to not only support the NGO sector, but also with what can we help absorb internally in the health system? How can we digitize multi-month dispensing? Will also help to alleviate some pressure on the clinics, for example.
Do you have any idea how much money you would need to do these things?
So our estimates are that currently within the, if we look across the province, both NGO and within government, the funding freeze, we're looking at approximately 350 million rand in the Western Cape. So it's big numbers, and already the fiscus is under significant strain. But we're working together, we're talking to NGOs, we're talking to other provinces, we're talking to the National Department of Health to see what can we do and how can we mitigate these risks as best as we can.
Just to give our viewers a little bit of insight, according to the USAID Facebook page, the US government invested $94 million in South Africa's TB program. So yes, that is quite a lot of money that's all of a sudden just not there. Your general take on the sudden canning of the USAID program?
So, look, for many years we've enjoyed a very good partnership with the USAID and with the US government that has helped us to make significant gains in fighting against HIV and TB. I think it's the suddenness of these changes that have been quite difficult to navigate. Also, it is quite fast moving and rapidly changing. And we still have many unanswered questions. But what I can say is that we're working together to understand, first of all, what are the implications, and secondly, how can we stabilize? So as I mentioned, we're looking at fast-tracking digitization, especially of our registers, multi-month dispensing up to 6 months for stable clients, repeat prescription strategies, how can we automate some of our script renewals, and then, of course, strengthening those counseling services. So we don't have all the answers at the moment. We don't know at this point exactly what the future looks like, but we are working together as quickly as we can, and we're hoping that we might get more insights, especially on the US funding side of things, as the sort of weeks develop.
Minister Wenger, thank you so much for your time and all the best. We hope you get these negotiations on the table and that you get excellent results. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.